You know, it's funny. We don't really think about our blood all that much, do we? Not unless we get a paper cut or something. But inside you, right now, is this incredible, complex substance that's literally keeping you alive. So let's take a closer look at this so-called river of life and find out what's really going on in there. I want you to picture this. Your blood vessels are this massive, sprawling network of highways. And your blood, well, that's the nonstop traffic. Every single second, billions of tiny vehicles, your cells, are racing around, delivering essential supplies, hauling away trash, and fighting off any troublemakers. It's a system that never, ever sleeps. So, just how much of this stuff are we talking about? Well, the average adult is carrying around about 5 liters of blood. To put that in perspective, that's like having 2.5 of those big soda bottles full of this super complex liquid working for you 24/7. That really is the big question, right? If we could shrink ourselves down, magic school bus style, and take a tour through an artery, what would we actually see? What is this stuff made of? Well, to figure that out, we've got to zoom way, way in to a single drop. You see, blood isn't just one red liquid. Nope. If you actually separate it out, you'll find it's made of 2 totally different main parts. And this is how scientists get a good look at those 2 parts. It's pretty cool, actually. You take a vial of blood and spin it really, really fast in a centrifuge. And just like that, the heavier stuff sinks to the bottom and the lighter liquid floats to the top. It perfectly splits the blood into its core components. And here's the breakdown. It's probably not what you'd expect. Over half of your blood, about 55%, is that yellowish liquid called plasma. The other 45%, well, that's all the cells and cell fragments. We call those the formed elements. Okay, so let's tackle that bigger piece of the pie first, plasma. At its core, it's mostly water, about 90%, but it's the other 10% that does all the work. The plasma is the river itself. It's the transport system that carries absolutely everything, the blood cells, hormones, nutrients, waste, you name it. And floating around in that plasma river are the formed elements. These are the real workhorses of the system. You've got your red blood cells, which are the oxygen delivery trucks, your white blood cells, the security guards fighting off infection, and the platelets, which are like the emergency road crew, patching up any leaks. Now, they're all super important, but for now, let's zero in on the most common cell by a long shot. Your body needs oxygen constantly, desperately, and the red blood cell is the perfect custom-built solution for that problem. Okay, just take a second to let this number sink in. 5.2 million. That's roughly how many red blood cells are packed into a single microliter of blood. And a microliter, it's a tiny, tiny drop, smaller than the head of a pin. The number is it's staggering. And their design is pure genius. They aren't just little spheres, they're what we call biconcave discs. Think of a tiny donut, but the middle part is just squished in, not punched all the way through. This weird shape gives them a massive amount of surface area, which is exactly what you want for their job, grabbing and letting go of oxygen as fast as possible. So the shape is clever, for sure, but how does it actually hold on to oxygen? What's the special little tool inside that makes the whole delivery system work? The secret weapon is a protein called hemoglobin. Every single red blood cell is just jam-packed with millions of these things. And at the very center of each hemoglobin molecule is a part called heme, which contains iron. That iron is what literally grabs onto oxygen. It's what makes blood red, and it's what makes the whole system go. You know when someone has iron deficiency anemia? That's when they don't have enough of this crucial iron, and their body just can't get the oxygen it needs. All right, so we have trillions of these little oxygen-carrying specialists, but they don't last forever. Which brings up a pretty big question. How in the world does your body keep up, cranking out billions of new cells every single day? The answer, believe it or not, lies deep inside your bones. That spongy stuff in the center of a lot of your bones, the bone marrow, that is your body's own high-tech blood cell factory. This whole manufacturing process is called hemopoiesis. And what's just incredible about it, as you can kind of see here, is that it all starts from one single type of master cell, a stem cell. Think about that. It's like having one single blueprint that can build every kind of blood cell, from a red blood cell to a white blood cell to a platelet. It's amazing. And it's not like flicking a switch. A stem cell goes through this whole journey to become a mature red blood cell. It grows, it loads up on hemoglobin, And then it does something wild. It spits out its own nucleus. Why? Pure efficiency. It's making more room to carry even more hemoglobin. After that, it matures a bit more, and then, boom, it's a full-fledged red blood cell, ready to get to work in the bloodstream. Okay, running a factory that's producing billions of units a day, that's going to need a seriously smart control system. You can't just let it run wild. Your body has to have a way to regulate all this, to keep everything in perfect balance. It's a really simple question, but the answer is fascinating. How does that factory inside your bones know when to speed up production? What's the signal that says, hey, we need more oxygen carriers out here? The trigger is a state called hypoxia. It's a fancy word, but all it means is that your body's tissues aren't getting quite enough oxygen. A classic example is when you go to a high altitude, where the air is thinner. Your body senses this oxygen dip, and it knows it's time to act. And this is the absolutely brilliant system it uses. It's called a negative feedback loop. Now, the sensor that detects low oxygen, it isn't in your bones. It's mostly in your kidneys. When your kidneys sense hypoxia, they release a hormone called erythropoietin, or EPO. By the way, this is exactly what elite athletes are doing when they train at high altitudes. They are purposely triggering the system to naturally boost their red blood cell count. So let's walk through it one more time. Step 1, your kidneys sense low oxygen. Step 2, they release the hormone EPO into your blood. Step 3, that EPO travels to your bone marrow and tells the factory, speed it up. Step 4, the marrow cranks out more red blood cells, which means you can carry more oxygen. And finally, step 5, with more oxygen in the blood, the hypoxia is corrected and the kidneys chill out and stop sending so much EPO. It's a perfect self-correcting loop. And that's the real beauty of it. It's not just an on-off switch. It's this dynamic, responsive system that is constantly fine-tuning your blood to meet the exact needs of your body. It makes sure you always have enough oxygen carriers, but not too many. It's just elegant. So, from a single cell in a single drop of blood all the way up to this body-wide regulatory system, it's just a marvel of biology. And this river of life is just one of these incredibly smart, automated systems that are running inside you right this second. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing things are happening in your body right now that you don't even have to think about?